maybe this is a high-pressure situation. Maybe there are other people around that are also watching and listening to me, and I don't just want to say, I don't know, or I can't afford to say, I don't know. Now, obviously, if you don't know the answer to a question, I don't advocate for acting like you do, because it's very easy for people to sniff out the BS. And so if you, especially if this is a situation where maybe you're in an interview, and your interviewer knows way more than you about that job, then I always advocate against trying to BS your way through that question. Instead, there are ways in which you can tactfully and confidently let the interviewer know that you don't know the answer. Let's get right into it. So, I've put together this flow chart here that I first want to walk you through, kind of my thought process whenever I get asked a question. So, first thing that should be going through your mind is, do I know the answer? Now, in an ideal scenario, yes, you know the answer immediately, and so you respond. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about if the answer is no. What do you do then? Well, the first thing I always recommend to people is don't panic. And if right off the bat you don't know the answer to something, you should do one of two things. First, you either take a pause, take a moment, take a deep breath. Don't be afraid to spend 1, 2, 3 seconds gathering your thoughts. Or you paraphrase and you restate what you just heard back to the interviewer or whoever was asking that question. And so what this looks like is when someone says, "Oh, Matt, please tell us about the latest on US-China relations." And then you respond by saying, "Awesome. Okay, so it sounds like you're asking me about the latest on US-China relations. What I can tell you is, based on the research, blah, blah, blah." Another common phrase that you can use to buy yourself a little bit more time is to say something like, "Oh, that's a really interesting question. If I think about it, what comes to mind is X." And so both of these tactics, pausing or paraphrasing, are effectively accomplishing the same goal, which is buying you a little bit more time to think, which is 100% okay. With pausing, I think a lot of people have trouble pausing because we're uncomfortable with silence. But what you have to realize is silence is actually one of the most powerful tools in your communication toolkit. So when you pause, instead of forcing yourself to fill the space because you're uncomfortable with silence, what you're actually doing is, one, of course you're giving yourself more time to think, but two, you're also coming across as a little bit more thoughtful. And so just think about the way that I'm using pauses right now. Whenever I pause, that space is actually being filled by the audience's thoughts. It's being filled by your thoughts, and whether you're aware of it or not, you are processing what I'm saying in my pauses. And so it's totally okay to take a pause, or you want to paraphrase what you just heard. Then you want to ask yourself the question, now, do I have an answer? And in an ideal scenario, the answer is yes, and so you respond. But let's say that you've done this, and you still are kind of stuck and don't know the answer. Or maybe it's just something that you straight up haven't had a lot of exposure to, and maybe you only know a very surface level understanding of this topic. Well, then this is where we move to the next step, which is, first of all, we do not say, "I don't know." Now, the reason why you don't want to say, "I don't know," is not because it sounds bad or something, but because "I don't know" is a very low effort response, and it essentially places world's best hedge fund managers are wrong 40 to 50% of the time. They only need to be right more than 50% of the time in order to be in the market. And so the same applies here. You should take the approach that it's okay to be wrong. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a hypothesis-driven assertion. Now this last part here, assertion, is really critical because an assertion is more powerful than something like a question. So what do I mean by this? Let's say you've been asked, what is the lifetime value of our customers? Meaning, across the entire life of a customer before they leave us, how much are they spending across all of their purchases?
Hello.
Let's say you
Do
don't know
subscribe
the
my
answer to
YouTube
that
channel,
upfront.
okay?
Now, one thing you can
Very
do is you
angry.
can say, I'm not
Angry
sure off the top
face.
of my head, do you have any data that I can use to calculate this for you? Now, that's not necessarily bad, but you're still asking them instead of making an assertion. You're asking them for data instead of making an assertion. Like, for example, okay, yeah, we can definitely calculate the lifetime value. I think the way that we should go about this is first we'll need to track down the average life of a customer at our company, and then we'll need to look for the dollar value that people are spending across their lifespan and probably average that out as well in order to get the lifetime value. Now, I think for that first piece, we can get the average life of a customer from our product team, and I think also with the dollars spent, maybe we can go to sales and understand how much people are spending across their entire life cycle. You see how the second way that I spoke about the problem is much more prescriptive and takes a perspective, and I could be wrong about the ways that we should get this data, but it at least proposes a path forward instead of dumping the onus and all of the stress back onto my manager or whoever gave me that question. And so why do we want to make an assertion? Well, because it's the best approach when we have incomplete information and we don't know what the correct answer is, but we still want to propose a path forward. Making an assertion demonstrates a few things. One is that it demonstrates second-order thinking, meaning that you're thinking beyond just the immediate effects. And you're thinking more than just one step ahead. You're thinking 2 steps ahead. So instead of just thinking, okay, I need to find this data, where can I get it? You're thinking, okay, maybe I can find this data from here. Maybe I can find that data from there. And if I can't find it from there, then maybe I'll try this other group. So you're thinking not 1, but at least 2 steps ahead. The second thing is it's demonstrating that you have a can-do attitude and that you're just overall a more proactive and initiative-taking person, which is always a benefit, especially in the workplace. And so it's a very simple and small adjustment that you can make, but will go a long way in terms of your reputation among other people, like your coworkers.
Do you like to drive? Do you want to earn money for it? Yango Pro is just what you need. Quick start. Download Yango Pro and get registered quickly. You'll receive payment for cash orders on the first day of work. We find riders for you. We send you...
The third thing is that the reason why an assertion is so powerful is because when, for example, the question is something that nobody knows the answer to, the assertion is inherently valuable because it's providing a path forward. So instead of